Alright guys, I'm just going to explain a drive belt replacement on a Kawasaki Vulcan. Now I have a 2008 Kawasaki Vulcan. Honestly, a lot of these years are going to be the same. So before you do this, I would of course make sure that you are ready to take time out, because this is not an easy thing to do. Actually, let me correct that statement. It is an easy thing to do, it's just time consuming, alright? So, let me start with the first thing. You're going to need to take these tailpipes off, both of them. So, you're going to need to pull the bolts out of the motor here, both of these pipes. They are connected down below, right down here. Oh, right here, sorry. There's a bolt right in here, these two here. Take those out. Now, so also this thing is keeping them together, so this thing here will just help it pull out as one. After you're done with that, it gives you access to that bolt for the back tire. And what you do is you'll just loosen it up. You don't want to take it off yet. Take the brakes off here, and two bolts right there, not a big deal. Okay, when you take that off, the brake, these tailpipes, gives you access to two main bolts here. You can't see the other one very well, but this is one of the most important, right down there. Those two bolts are going to split your frame in half. Basically, this half will stay on the jack. That whole back section is going to be pulled off. That's the only way to get a belt off. If you don't believe me, call the shop. Actually, I had to call the shop a couple of times on this one. So again, easy process, very time consuming. Coming over to this side, what you'll want to do is let me pull this in a little closer to you, as I say. Alright, take off this here and this cover here. Well, you can do them in order, you know which way. Underneath, you're going to expose your sprocket. I took my sprocket off. You don't have to take your sprocket off. I was just switching it out for a new one. This here I took off, and there's my antifreeze underneath this thing, antifreeze holder. I disattached that just simply to give me more room. I ended up taking this off and this off, of course, just to make it easier. Then what I did is, after I took both of those things off, pulled the back bolt out. And when I pulled the back bolt out, obviously I just dropped the tire out. And this is all after I had it on the jack. Now after I got all that done, those two bolts I told you about previously, one of the bolts you might be able to see. Let me get in there. There's one of them. And the other one is hiding behind there. I don't know if you can see it. So whenever you take these bolts off, this whole swing arm back here just pulls back. Alright? So when it pulls off, that gives you access to the, taking off the belt. Gives you enough room. That is how you switch it out. Just don't forget, like for me, I label all my bolts and put them in little bags. So whenever you go to put it all back together, make sure you use little bags or whatever method you use to keep track of all your bolts. So that's about it. And then I put it all back together. Put the tire back on. And obviously put the frame back on, tire back on, all that kind of good jazz. Again, don't do it without a jack. I wouldn't do it by yourself. And be very careful there, I guess. This is it's not something you guys want to get into if you're not a skilled worker on motorcycles. Even if it's your first time, again, like I said, it's rather easy, but don't forget, these bikes are like 615 pounds, so you don't want one of these things falling over on you. So definitely consult a professional at a bike shop before you tend to break into one of these. But again, I did one of these. I'm like an intermediate individual when it comes to motorcycles, and it didn't give me any troubles at all. It just took me a long period of time to do this, and I got that that belt switched out. There's that rip that went straight across. So here's the old belt. Now, as you'll notice, very important, don't bend it. Alright, don't bend your belt at all whenever you're putting your new one on. Now, this one will say that it's let's say the size is an 11, I think it's an 1156. Give me a second here. Let's see here. There it is. 5911, right there. 5911-0013. They do not make this belt any longer. Alright? So when you do it, you're going to have to get a 5901100. And it's going to look kind of like that, but it's going to be, instead of 0013, it's going to be 0021. So it's the new updated belt. So take that in consideration. It's a little smaller, not by much, but it is a little smaller for it. Kawasaki discontinued and upgraded to a different belt. So whenever you look at it, if they don't look quite right, as long as it's 590110021, you're good. So that's the one, again, Kawasaki upgraded to. Now, very important, make sure that when you're tightening your belt on the other side, that you know, on the form they say, you know, you need about, if you have a tensioner, a gauge, about 10 pounds. The guy at the shop said it shouldn't, whenever it's sitting, shouldn't flex more than an inch. When someone's sitting on it, it shouldn't flex more than a half an inch, or at least a half an inch. So, just so you guys know, again, that's something you want to consult with your motorcycle shop with. And yeah, I think that you'll do just fine. Again, this is a really easy thing for me. Didn't take it took me a long time. Super easy. I just was waiting on parts, you know, waiting on a little bit of help. Again, don't try to do this by your lonesome, all right? Could get hurt. Very heavy bike. You get it up on the jack, it gets kind of swirly, you know. So, but anyways, that's my review of how to change your motorcycle belt. Remember, pipes, back tire, bolts in the middle there. The other side, you have those covers, you know, and just pull the belt off. When you put it back on, don't forget to check your tension. So, alright, well, again, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you guys, if at all you guys are intending to do this on your own. If not, it's going to be about a $600-700 project. Take it to the shop. $400 for the belt, about $140 for them to, $140-150, depending on how quickly they get it done, for them to do the work on the motorcycle itself. So you're going to save yourself about $150, depending on what your mechanic charges are. So, all right, open any comments whatsoever. Again, be careful. Don't proceed if you're not comfortable. Make sure you're doing it with 2 people. And, have a good one on this one here, friend, all right?